Hello, good evening. I'm Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live, coming to you live here from World Star Studios at Amsterdam Shopping Center. And everyone is saying to me, these days you're having a lot of parliamentarians. Well, it's Parliamentarian Month, right? We have another parliamentarian, Mr. George Pantophlet, Member of Parliament. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, Oral. Good night to you, of course, and the listeners and the viewers and so on. I'm a parliamentarian honorary sense, but still, I have work to do, so I'm here tonight to inform the public as to what is taking place on St. Martin.
Well, something seems to be strange this month because Parliament is on recess, and it looks like most of the parliamentarians are staying home.
Of course, the importance of all is what is taking place. Sometimes when you see St. Martin in a situation, it must make us to and do what you have to do. So here I am.
Could it be that you guys are expecting a coup or something like that?
I think what is happening right now, all we realize that St. Martin is going through a very difficult season.
Yeah.
If I look at what is taking place with regards to the issue of the integrity chamber, as they would say, it is telling me that we have to put politics behind and put the people of St. Martin first. So what I would like to see happen all right now is for us, as all members of Parliament, across party lines, sit down and put our heads together as to what we can do in order to push St. Martin forward and to ensure that the people of St. Martin get what they deserve.
So you know that Parliament sent back that integrity chamber agreement to make some changes.
Of course. Oral, I don't know if you said the article I wrote that came out today.
Yeah.
I'm totally against it. And of course, I know there are those who might not agree with me, but that's up to them. But the fact is, Oral, we have enough organs on the island. We have the General Auditing Chamber. We have the Advisory Council. We have the Ombudsman. We have the National Security Service. We have the Land Sheriff. We have the Prosecutor's Office. All these different organs should be strengthened. To bring in an integrity chamber right now, Oral, what is that going to solve? It's going to cost us more money, of course. And I see it, Oral, and the people of St. Martin should pay keen attention. The integrity chamber that they want to have established in St. Martin will hurt every one of us as locals. It will hurt businesses alike. It will hurt everyone. The fact is, Oral, what is going to happen is that you and I, who live on a very small island, who have family, friends, and so on that we associate with, when it comes to business and so on, we got to be very careful because why? If I say, well, I'm a member of Parliament, Oral Gibbs has a studio, and I want some things done for me through him, it means that because we're associated now, based on that law, there's something going on, there's some deal taking place that is not in favor. So we're saying right now, we got to be very careful. As I mentioned before, we have many organs that are already existing, and they are sufficient all to deal with the issues. The prosecutor's office, for one. I was very, it was very interesting to see in a newspaper article where they're doing an investigation on the harbor. And they're going to look into the books, the accounting and so on, the laws, regulations. And I'm happy for this in one sense, but I'm also saying that make sure that the other companies too, like Gibbes, TLM, and also the Juliana Airport is also investigated, but not right now. It'll be too much. What I'm saying, Oral, they have these organs in place. Prosecutor's office, let them do their work. St. Martin is a very small island. They know exactly who's doing what on this island. They have the information. I think it's time now that they take responsibility and deal with issues that they know is taking place on this island.
I've had many of your colleagues here this month, and it seems to me that you all are unanimous in your position with regards to the integrity chamber.
Of course, Oral, we have to realize this. It's all about St. Martin, first and foremost. And we must ensure that the public know that we are fighting on their behalf. Some people say, yes, they are coming after the politicians. No, my friends. No, my friends. We are the ones who saw that integrity draft proposal. And yes, you heard a statement, but St. Martin is one who make it. I said, wait a minute. If you look at the setup, 3 members of integrity chamber. 1, St. Martin. 1 from Holland. And the 3rd one to be appointed by Kingdom Resolution. Now, what does that tell you? Who's going to bear the cost again? We're going to bear the cost. Or I will maintain firm and fixed. Let the present organs that exist do their job. I was reading in the paper where in Peru, they sent prosecutors to Brazil because of some, fraud that is going on in those countries. and they were sent by the Attorney General of Peru to Brazil. The prosecutors. Why now are we saying on St. Martin we need to put another organ in place, an integrity chamber which will be dominated by the Dutch first and foremost? And again, Oral, I want to say to the people of St. Martin, it will not be for the politicians alone, it will be for every individual that is doing business on this island. We must be careful of what is taking place right now.
But Brazil is a sovereign state, and being a sovereign state, who's sending?
Affiliation.
Oh, okay.
Affiliation, because again, transnational things that are taking place. It's between Brazil, I think Argentina, some countries were mentioned, and therefore they're working in collaboration in order to root out what is taking place. Prosecutors, Oral, assigned by Attorney General of Peru. So I'm saying to St. Martin, we do not need an integrity chamber. Let us use the organs that we have and make sure that they do what they have to. And the people of St. Martin have to realize that they have the power to make change in this country.
I had the Minister of Justice here just after he returned from the Hague, and I asked him who will pay for the integrity chamber, and he said the Dutch will.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. The discussion, then I got to look at the report again, all because we are paying, they're also paying, but the tune is about 8 million guilders, and we are paying also part of 8 million guilders. And I find, all again, if you want us to have an integrity chamber, you should pay. But again, let me go back. I don't want any. I can maintain what I said before, that St. Martin has enough organizations in place in order to deal with it. And I said it today on Radio Oral. Let me say this. I will not neglect the fact that St. Martin and all over the world, Oral, every country in the world have corruption. Every country. St. Martin have politicians who are corrupt. It has civil servants who are corrupt. If it's not so, prove it that it's otherwise. Every country has it. What I'm saying, the island is small, you know who they are, go after them. And I'm saying this to the politicians who are doing this thing and those civil servants, stop it, because what you're doing, you're hurting the people of St. Martin and you're stunting our growth.
Well, you know, corruption hurts the poor class more than anything else, because it makes it extremely difficult for them to get anything done. And today in St. Martin, what you're seeing is corruption from the top to the bottom, and it's really, really bad.
Well, sorry cutting you off, right? But one of the things that I'm realizing right now, and you know, when you represent people of St. Martin, which I'm doing, I'm not looking at individuals who might get upset at what I say. I have gone to certain government institutions and so on, and Oral, the person that faces you at the window, they take decisions unilaterally. They don't go, some of them don't go and find out from their superior as to what is taking place. And Oral, this has to stop. You're always told, wait a minute, I'm here you only here 4 years or shorter than that. I'm here 12, 15 years, I decide. No. It is time, Oral, that the ministers who are in charge take up the responsibilities and ensure that these persons are written up. And if they don't change their behavior, Oral, then they have to be dealt with. But it should not be that a few that are doing this harm the entire population. And you said it correctly. It's the small man that suffers more than anything else when it comes to these things.
And I'm surprised that you mentioned that part of the civil servants, because what I notice right now, it's getting really bad, where you have civil servants just making decisions contrary to what the law states, and they're just deciding without their supervisors or without the ministry doing anything about it. And this is becoming really a problem.
Well, my own experience, the tax office. I was trying to collect my 2012 taxes, and I got a nice, I call it a love letter in the mail, stating that I owe them some money. So I went to the office, it was about 10 o'clock in the morning, Oral. And between 10 and 3 o'clock, I was back and forth between the Inspector of Taxes and the St. Martin Receiver's Office. And I did it intentionally. Why? I went back and forth because the issue is, Oral, you're telling me I filed my documents at the St. Martin Receiver's Office, but they are giving everything to the Inspector of Taxes and not keeping any copies. So right now, if I couldn't prove that I already paid it, Oral, I'd have been charged again. Now listen to this. Let me use a fictitious figure. Let's say I owe them 500 guilders according to what they said, and they owed me 3,000 guilders. I said, look, in order for this issue not to be prolonged, take out your 500 guilders and give me the difference. I was told no. They could hold my 5 or 3,000 guilders for 500 guilders. So I said, whose law is this? Oh, it's a policy. I said, is it verbal or written? They started to start. I said, let me see your superior. I said something, leave it alone. Because I realized that what they were doing It's just passing on what they were told, but there's nothing documented.
But that's not the way government functions.
Government has to function based on the law. I've said it over and over again. Whatever government does has to be based on the law.
And another thing too, I think, as a citizen, I have the right to ask you to show me the law. The law that you're basing your decision on how you're treating me.
Of course.
And apparently some civil servants get extremely angry, and a lot of people are not aware of their rights also.
Well, it is your right. Even the prosecutor himself, I don't know if you saw the article I wrote when I said, look, the prosecutor quoted, they said a civil code that they're using in order to authorize them to do an investigation on the harbor. And I said, look, that is fine and well. I'm sure they know what they're doing, but please, for the public's interest, because they said they're doing on behalf of the public because of complaints, public's interest, then please, what book is it? Book 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, what article? Let us know exactly based on what article you're using in order to give you authority to investigate at the harbor. Again, get back to what you're saying, whatever you do has to be based on a law. And people have a right to say, what law are you using? I want to see it.
No, I know there's been a lot of complaints about the prosecutor's office by members of parliament and the citizens. So now, who investigates the prosecutor's office?
That's a good question. Let me say this. 2008, and I can't find the report. I think Mr. Peter Balkenende was here. He was the Prime Minister of Holland at the time. And he came down, I think it was the Netherlands Antilles, yes, he came down and he gave a speech in the courthouse. I don't know if you can remember that, that speech. I can't find it oral because in that speech, he gave the justice system or the justice department a tongue lashing. And I smiled and said, wait a minute, who is in charge of the justice system? Not us. It is the Dutch who are in charge of the justice system. So therefore, if this is, which means he's saying to us that they are not functioning the way they're supposed to function. You know, one of the court cases where the judge said, wait a minute, he told the prosecutor, wait a minute, why are you calling the small fish? Where's the big fish? And today you still find that nothing has happened because why? They are not doing what they're supposed to do based on whatever reason. If you need to be strengthened, I'm saying, strengthen the office, let them do their job. But who are the ones who are investigating them or who have oversight? Or let me tell you this, there's a tres politica. We have the legislative, the executive, and the judiciary. And we always mention the legislative first, but we got to turn it around because the big boys in town is the justice, not us.
Let me ask you, MP Pantophlet, how you feel as a member of parliament, how you feel about the function of the Prime Minister?
Well, let me say this. The Prime Minister, I believe, honestly, as an individual, I have much respect for him, but I believe he should vacate the position. Based on what is taking place right now, I do not see him as being capable of handling anything.
Why
in fact, it's very stagnant. What is happening in government right now? Nothing is happening. The construction area of Romy, nothing is happening. And you're hearing things about, and again, media reports are one thing, and if you don't have facts in hand, it's difficult to substantiate these things. But when you hear that you're being told, I cannot do this because I'm being told by the head of the UP not to do X, Y, Z, then why are you there?
Is that really true?
That's what I'm saying. Media reports, you know. The facts, is it so? Do they have a recording? I don't know, because these days the technology could do anything, you understand? But that's being said, and we can see it oral, that St. Martin is at a standstill. The investors are looking on very carefully. We've got to say, wait a minute, is this government stable? They're not doing anything at all. So what is happening right now? Look at the airport. The building permit, where is it? It has not been approved as yet. And then you hear, yes, this was not correct. They didn't follow proper procedures. Where is it now?
I heard that was corrected. All of that was already corrected. But I understand now that the Prime Minister is asking more questions.
That's what I'm saying. So based on what? Who is stalling what? What is going on? Somebody told me, they came in and said, look, I am a DP-UP supporter, but right now the way things are going, I think you got to get him out of there. And I was surprised because this person is a staunch DP from talking 30 years ago, come forward, and they're saying plain that this present government is causing investors to be scared and they're afraid to invest in the country.
Well, there's a lot of people like that, thinking like that right now. And when you look at the situation with the government program for this
your side?
government.
I saw things in the paper and, and I smiled. I heard my casino fees.
You don't have a copy of it?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, I have a copy.
But what I'm saying, the casino fees and there I heard, the casino gaming board and so on, I heard those things. I haven't read it myself. But what I heard, there's no deadline. What I read, there's no deadline set as so chief thing, which means you don't intend to do anything at all.
But at the same time, it was presented to the Prime Minister without the knowledge of the party leader.
course. Well, party leader, well, if me, they had a discussion. How is it possible then? But I thought it was a government thing. I didn't know that that's how the process was, Oral. So who's fooling who? Who's the one that decide exactly how to move forward? That's why I said again, with all respect to the Prime Minister, I think that he should understand that he is not capable right now of being in control of the Council of Ministers, not even of his own portfolio, the one he's supposed to be handling right now.
But they're complaining right now that you guys are making it difficult for them to govern because anytime MPs go away, they're trying to pull them away from them.
I didn't hear the one. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Yeah, really.
Of course. What day?
I had the deputy leader of the UP party here, Franklin Myers, and he was speaking about that.
My problem is, well, now, and you're causing me to switch to something else now. Why I say this? The deputy leader is complaining about trying to take away members from the coalition in order to probably cause government to fall and form another coalition government and so on.
Right.
Then where is the interest of the people of St. Martin? Where is the interest of the people of St. Martin? I mean, an issue that I've been hammering on right now, they're talking about not working together with government and so on. There's $68 million, Oral. The court case between AUC and the Inspector of Taxes and the St. Martin Receiver's Office. In 2011, and Oral, this was in the social media because I didn't know it. 3 names were mentioned: Theo Heiliger, Frankie Myers, and Hiro Shigemoto, as the persons who sat down with the AUC then in 2011 and made some deal.
Well, the judge mentioned them in
Exactly, exactly. But the issue is, Oral, we are talking $68 million, okay? When we asked the Minister of Finance the first time, Minister Martin Hassing, he said he cannot talk about it because, yeah, it's a private issue. After he said, look, there's a court case going to start with regards to the AUC, the tax office, and the Spanish receiver's office. December 2013, he told us that there was some kind of mistake went down, so they're going to do it in 2014. Mm-hmm. Finally, in June of 2015, a verdict went down. But the fact is this: I submitted a letter oral to the Minister of Finance. I said, look, I want to know exactly what is the status of the SZV payment arrears and the APS. And also, what is the status of the AUC and the tax office and the receiver's office court case.
Okay.
The verdict came down in June oral. My letter dated May the 19th, prior to the school, to the verdict, I can accept that. July the 3rd, I received a response from the Minister of Finance stating they're busy with an in-depth discussion with regards to the APS and the SZV payment arrears. With regards to the AUC, however, because of privacy rights and so on, he cannot divulge to the Member of Parliament, nor the people of St. Martin, the ruling that the judge passed with regards to what took place. Now, all based on the newspapers, I saw they had a discussion where they mentioned Tax 1 agreement and Tax 2 agreement. Apparently, the judge based his ruling on a Tax 2 agreement. What does it entail? I don't know, Earl, because you know sometimes written reports can be done in error. I asked to see the actual document because in the newspaper they mentioned a law of 2000. Now, I hope those who are listening who are better versed than I am in this particular law. Apparently, there's a law where they can identify a particular area as a free market or a free economic zone. And apparently, that is a law that was used in order to designate AUC as an economic free zone and then pay a 2% profit tax.
But you can't do that after the fact.
Well, Oral, I don't have the proof. They said the law is a law from 2000.
But did AUC requested that arrangement at the time?
I do not know what took place with the discussion between the 3 former ministers, which was Minister Theo Heiliger at the time, Frankie Myers and Hiro Shigemoto. They had a meeting. What transpired, I even asked, I said, can I get a minutes of the meeting, please? Even that I can't get. And all I'm saying, Member of Parliament, the Constitution says that we have rights to ask questions of the ministers, and they should answer. And you're telling me right now that the tax orders that we have to approve supersedes the Constitution of St. Martin, then we have a problem, Oral. We have a problem right there. So I am pursuing right now, as a matter of fact, I went to the ombudsman, and I'm still going through certain things because I will not let the situation rest. The people have a right to know exactly why is it that $68 million, and I'm saying this, Oral, and I've said it on the Parliament floor many times. We have laws, and the law is black and white. But the judge, based on his opinion, can decide what decision he's going to take. And I've always said, look, I have a problem with it, but I can't do anybody because I'm not the legal mind. But I'm saying $68 million. Couldn't the judge have said, you know something, we will not give you the full 60, but at least half or whatever, but nothing. Our budgets right now are in deficit. The CFT told us we have to pay 129 million guineas this year. 129 million guineas this year, and over the next 3 years, 40 million per year to take care of our deficits. Where's the money going to come from?
But then that money also could have wiped out the debt to the pension fund and the SLA.
Of course. You see, and Oral, you know, people look and say, well, you know, the law is the law. I always say you have to look at who make the laws. You know, and the person that makes the laws can make it in a way to suit him or herself. That's a fact. Who want to accept it? Yes or no, that's up to them. That's my opinion. And right now, St. Martin, we signed an agreement, yes, in the past, safety and so on, but you should not tell me that if something is choking me, Oral, or you should not tell me, yes, jump over a cliff and you'll see what you do afterwards, because the decision that's being taken right now for us to try to cut these budgets and so on, it is going to hurt the social issues, and we're feeling it right now. I know persons, Oral, who they had afternoon schools, they're shutting down, which means children at home, parents are working, what you're looking for there, you know? And I think it was, I can't remember exactly, there's an article came out in the paper, I can't remember his name, but what he said, look, he's a Dutchman, eh? He said, Holland has to stop doing things black and white and looking at the economy and start looking at social issues, because the life of the people are being threatened because of across the board black and white decisions are not helping. I should have brought it, but I didn't remember to bring it tonight. But the fact is, they're relying that the way they're doing things now, Oral, is not assisting St. Martin at all. And I'm saying this, it is in order to bring us to our knees, Oral, for us to say, you know, Holland, please help us. And I told somebody the other day, do not tell me and do not say that Holland is my mother. She's not my mother country, okay? Because a mother will fight and die for her children. This is not my mother country. And I say plain, emancipation, they just went. My mother country is Africa. I wasn't born there, but I was brought over here against my will. But I'm a survivor today, that's why I'm here right now. And St. Martin have to understand that we are strong enough to defend our country, but we have to stand together. If you have to sit down and form a national government, Oral, then let us do it, because you have to realize that it is the people's interest that is at stake right now in St. Martin.
You know, the integrity chamber that I told you earlier, that the Minister of Justice said the Dutch agreed that they will pay for it. When you look at what's happening in the Dutch Caribbean, they're always quick to pay for things like new prisons, expansion of prisons. But when it comes to social development of the people, they're not there anymore like they used to in the past.
Well, you know, I almost feel like a broken record when I hear you say that. Because when St. Martin wanted to become country, what they focus on, finances, administration, justice, schools, hospitals, no. And what did Lucky Dubé say? They won't build more hospitals, only prison. Right now we have a situation in St. Martin where we have, let me use this word, young criminals, that because of no space, absolutely, they are returned back into society, which means what can happen? If there's no rehabilitation at all, or it means they can go back to the same practices. And I like to call him my minister, Roland Duncan, because I tell you I have a lot of respect for him. He didn't all do things that I would agree with. But the fact is that building that was supposed to be knocked down, but is still standing for whatever reason, was going to be used for some of our young, let me use them delinquents, in order to give them a chance to be rehabilitated. Right now there's nothing, which means, as I said before, anything happens, they're out in the street. So what are you telling us? Because they're saying, yes, St. Martin has no place for rehab, but at the same time, you're tying our hands, telling us to cut, make our social issues, our legal provision of rehabilitation centers go behind, and right now we end up in the same vicious cycle.
I had your colleague here, President of Parliament, MP, Dr. Lord Richardson. He said that it was suggested to him in a meeting with the CFT that the government should consider selling off some assets?
We had and this is something oral, they talk about closing meetings. I think that the CFT should think carefully about us having public meetings instead of closed door sessions. Because what is discussed closed door is the Rangers Bill of St. Martin. I don't see nothing hide at all at all. I asked them a question in there oral, and I said, look, you all tell us to sell assets. What assets? Are you not talking about GB, TLM, the airport, or the hub? I hope not. Because we don't have much assets except for those things. So what are you saying? And then I'm going to ask the question. If you want us to sell our assets, who's going to buy it? You see, I asked a question in that closed door session oral. And normally, you know, the Dutch don't stammer. They answer you straightforward. I mean, they're good. And in a newspaper article, it stated, and I repeated it, I said, look, the Dutch were not pleased, and I'm paraphrasing, that we did not go to them for the loan to pay off the SZV and the APS. And I asked the question, and I had asked it twice to get an answer. But up to now, I didn't get a straight answer. So my reason is, since we didn't come to you to get a loan to pay it off, then now you're going to squeeze us now. So I want you to cut here, cut there, cut here, and I want you to pay me 129 million guilders as of this year.
I wonder if politicians in St. Martin ever learn from history. And the reason why I say this is because you remember back in 1991, the airport problem, and then the Italian government, company and everything else. St. Martin didn't go to Holland. The reason why that became a big problem is because of Italy. Okay. And you know, the Dutch are very good, keen business people, and they want to make $1 where it is 5 cents. And maybe you all should consider giving them more business in St. Martin to solve the problem.
I thought that the harbor, I think they had part of the harbor, I think, for a while, and things turned out okay, of course, under the SPA government at the time. Or in all seriousness, I have nothing personally against our Dutch, let's say, partners in the kingdom. We're not equal, of course, but it is the manner in which they operate. And right now, I listen to Mr. Minister of King Affairs, Ronald Plasterk, mention how can we assist the Caribbean islands, because right now, because of our economy, we can't get cheap medication. And I think you read that part there. And I'm saying, whose fault is it? Fact is, you're supporting a lot of the islands around here. When it comes to St. Martin, why is it we cannot get opportunity in order to get cheaper medication? But at the same time, all you're cutting us left, right, and center. I'm saying people have to learn from what has taken place around. The system that have been there in the past, and I have not lived back then, but the system oral to keep us how we are in a little group, fighting each other like crazy and forgetting what has taken place, is still in place. I mentioned one time oral South Africa. South Africa right now have, and I made some research, so if I'm incorrect, I challenge anybody to call in now or to say it's not so. 1,500 pilots in South Africa. 150 are blacks and Indians, the rest are white Dutch. 21st century oral. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? So the system is not different. It is the same system. And people in St. Martin, I'm telling you, wake up. I'm saying it today. Mark my words. If we don't change our direction, if we don't understand as politicians that St. Martin is at stake and our future is at stake, of our children, then keep behaving the way we're behaving. And we'll bring upon ourselves the highest supervision that we don't want to have.
Well, now that I'm hearing, you sound more like one of the MPs who favor independence.
I've always favored independence, always oral. People say, yeah, you're not ready. How do you say teach you to swim through in the sea and then you better swim or sink? You know? Again, there are a lot of naysayers. We have referendums, and we must respect democracy where if people don't want it, you can't force it on them. Right. But the way things are going right now, if we as leaders show the people that we have their good interests at heart, then they'll try to change their mindset. They're afraid. They don't trust us at all. We say one thing, do something different, or do nothing at all. And that's what's going on with us right now today.
I said this last night here on Oral Gibbes Live with the president of the Independence for St. Martin Foundation. It was in reference to Mr. Brooks returning, William Brooks returning to GBE. And I said, no, as a St. Martiner, St. Martiners must come first. And Mr. Brooks is a St. Martiner. We've had our issues in the past, but he got to come first. The reason I'm saying this to you now is because I'm seeing so many people being hired by the government, and they're being bypassed. St. Martiners into some of those ministries are being bypassed. Now, I want to ask you please to hold that thought. I got to take this call. I'm going to come right back, all right? Oral Gibbes Live and caller. Hello? Hello? Yeah, so can you go ahead? So what do you think about that? Is that true or I'm making it up? Go ahead.
Oral, it is true. Look, what I normally do, Oral, I go to some departments within government and I inquire how things are going and so on. And as a matter of fact, I wrote a letter to the Prime Minister asking for information with regards to civil servants who I asked what are their functions, are they being trained, how many have joined the force in the last 2 or 3 years, how are they being treated, what are their feelings. And as you can see the response I got there, I couldn't even, it's not even legible. The fact is, Oral, a lot of the workers feel, they said, look, I can handle the position, but unfortunately for whatever reason, they are bypassing me. As a matter of fact, there's some who have gone back to Holland, Oral, and who are leaving because they said, look, I find that we're going to do better in Holland than in St. Martin.
Wow.
And that's dangerous.
Yeah, that's all good. Let me take some calls here. Oral Gibbes Live and caller. Hello? Yeah, caller?
Yeah.
Oral Gibbes, you're on live. When I say hello, you got to answer. I just missed the other caller there, so go ahead, caller, please.
Yeah. How come Mr. Integrity has people paying by the government, by the public, not working because he is doing things that's not allowed?
Who's Mr. Integrity?
Well, there's one minister that fights for integrity, don't he?
Oh, minister, okay.
Well, listen.
Well, I think you know more than me. The question you posed, you said, how come he's not finding integrity? That's a question that I can't answer. I always prefer to get information on something before I just make statements that are not accurate. Whatever question you pose there, if you want to see me personally, then it'll be very good. We can talk about it. But right now, I'm trying to figure out the question that you posed.
Yeah, and you're not a minister, you're an MP.
Exactly, MP, exactly.
Right. Oral Gibbes Live, Oral Gibbes Live, you're on caller. Hello?
Good night, Mr. Gibbes.
Good night, sir.
Thank you again.
Good night.
I have one or two questions I want to ask Mr. Pantophlet. Mr. Pantophlet, you mentioned there that building in Kihil, you figured it was tore down already. Number one, I want to ask you, that building, that's your opinion, or whoever opinion. You say sometimes you'll be in accord with Duncan, sometimes you don't be in accord with him. But I want to know, where the government will get money from to finance to buy that? Because you don't think our government become part of the system where the government can't balance a budget and that don't cost 50,000 up there. Number two, you mentioned there you're in accord with independence. Yes, I'm in accord with independence. But my grandmother always said they have to prepare for independence. The Martin don't produce nothing, and if a tourist ship don't come in there, we're in a lot of trouble. And I don't hear no politicians say, we put all our heads together, and it was St. Martin.
Well, he just said that a while ago in the program, caller.
SPA, or not like that. And next thing, one more little thing.
Very, very quick, very quick. We have a lot of people holding on.
Up there. Mr. Mingo said it cost 4 million. It ended up costing over 7 million. Nobody's talking about it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Caller, thanks for the question. The issue with the building, I said yes, it should have been knocked down a long time, but right now, as things are, it is still there, and it can be used, and so on. Basically, the government that is there right now, whatever they finalize, the building is still there, and it can be used. Yes, the issue of independence, what you say is true, we don't produce, but my thing is, why is it that a country that doesn't produce, we generate so much money? A report from the Dutch came out some 6-7 years ago. They said, how is it possible St. Martin is making millions of guilders, but not reflecting the government coffers? So what I'm saying, we do not have to be growing anything in order to go independence. Yes, we can. I believe we should have some agriculture, but at the same time, St. Martin can take itself financially if we manage the funds properly.
Definitely. Oral Gibbes Live and caller. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to the parliamentarian.
Good evening.
George, Pantophlet, and good evening to you, Oral.
Good evening.
Something that struck me again is the monetary front. Ensley Trump, he mentioned something very important, which I think that all the politicians are aware of the illegal currency with the guilder. And if St. Martin people don't be careful, those who have guilders and those who are being paid in guilders, I think we will suffer the consequences. This is something we have to take very seriously. And according to me, the way how I see it, it's just games played with such important issues. And it's time enough across the board. It doesn't matter who is in government, what party is in government, they all have to put their heads together and put a nose in one direction to try to get this island together. Because if we don't, we're doomed to fail. We are already failing, and all we're doing is just talking and talking and talking, and there is no decision, cardinal decision, is being taken on this island. And this island is suffering, and the people is suffering. And instead of we giving the blame on one another, I think it's time enough that we could get crisis government on St. Martin to be able to propel this island.
Okay.
That's the way I see it.
Thank you, sir.
Again, the message is people be aware with this whole dollarization and guilder issue, with this illegal currency that is taking place from the Netherlands until it.
Okay, all right.
That was 5 years ago.
Thanks for calling.
Up to now, nobody hasn't taken a cardinal decision. All you hear everybody just talking, they're working on it, they're working on it.
Okay. Let me have me respond to you. We have a lot of people holding the line. Please, please. We have it. Let me respond to you, please. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Oh,
sure.
thanks a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, caller, thanks for that. We mentioned the issue of us putting our nose in one direction across party lines. I said at the beginning, that's the only way we can survive. The issue of dollarization with the guilder, when you answered it there already. When I read about it, because don't forget, the same director of the central bank, Mr. MC Trump, spoke years ago about maintaining, until he's maintaining the guilder, maintaining the monetary union. Then he switched to dollarization. Now he's down to the right now that you know, the guilder is an illegal currency and so on. It is like a trick to get people afraid to see something. Boy, let us dollarize. But I think it should be studied very carefully and so to proceed, because right now the guilder who is controlling the guilder. It's not outside forces, it is us here in the monetary union. So let us see how we can do it ourselves, but don't allow yourself to be intimidated by what is being said right now in the media.
Oral Gibbes live on caller. Hello.
Hello, good night.
Good night.
Hello, good night.
Good night, ma'am. Go right ahead. You're on the air live.
Yes, I'll have to say that a prophet is not recognized in his own country. The good old book says, the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. It's very sad. If I want to put it in other words, Dutch have a saying in Atlanta, the blinden is een oog koning. In other words, in a blind eye country, the person with one eye is king. And sadly, St. Martin has been so for 50 to 55 years. And the light has been shining, but the darkness still did not understand it. And maybe because there were so many prophets of doom out there, and people don't like prophets of doom, but the truth is the truth. Sorry, folks. It's after 12 o'clock. Good night.
Yeah.
Look, the issue is what the caller is saying plain that there have been warning signs all over the years and so on. And nothing can last forever. All I believe we're in a season right now where we are forced to put our heads together in order to make St. Martin what it ought to be.
Right. Oral Gibbes live on caller. Hello. You're on live, caller.
Hello?
Yeah, hello, you're on live.
Oh, sorry. You can, this is on the program now, right? Mr. Gibbs,
Yes, hello.
can you take down this number for me, please?
No, I can't do that. This is a live show, and it's being seen all over, so we can't do that. We don't have time for that. You have a question or comment?
Tomorrow, I need some help from you. Could I call you on this number tomorrow?
You have a comment for the MP? Call me after the show. All right, thanks for calling. So after the show, you call this number. So MP, when you look at the situation, wherein we are in a difficult situation right now, where a lot of people are not happy with the current government. So let me ask you this: are you prepared, say 2 months, 3 months from now, to be a part of a broad-based government to save St. Martin?
Well, I said in the beginning of the program, one of the things I've always made plain, George Pantophlet is not in this for himself. I'm here for the people of St. Martin. And we must do whatever it takes to make sure that we can build this country or make it what it's supposed to be. Right now, Oral, there are people not only angry, people are hungry, Oral. And I'm sure that people have approached you and so on, right, who are in need. I mean, their fridge is empty. They can't even send their children to school because they don't have any food to give them and so on. They can't pay their rent, they can't pay their light, they can't pay their water, anything at all, Oral. People are sick and tired of what is taking place. And look at us as politicians. What are you all doing? You're all not doing anything for us. You just want to fill your pockets, lie to us, and make yourself rich. I'm saying, Oral, if it takes a broad-based government, 2, 3 months, whatever, I, as member of parliament, whatever it is to make this country go forward, I will have to support it, Oral.
And I have to say one thing, because people are really going through some difficult times, but I have to commend GBE for what they're doing right now. They're making a notice, they're notifying areas that they're going to cut. So not by surprise. And I think that's good that they're doing that. I don't know what you think about that.
Let me say this. Oral, I don't know if you listen to some of the meetings that we have had, even as Island Council member. One of the complaints I've always had is, why do you cut on a Friday? That was number one. Because I don't have a chance to go and pay my bill to get it reconnected again. But the issue of notifying Oral, I think, is an excellent thing, because the fact is, then people will know exactly what is taking place. Furthermore, I tell persons that sometimes they say, well, Gibbes cut me. I say, but why did they cut you? When you look, Oral, I haven't paid their bills in 2 weeks. I said, look, if you go to the office and make an arrangement, they will not cut you like this. You know, I used to call and say, well, I used to call my friend France. I said, what happened? You cut? Oh, well, what's going on? He said, but George, he never came in or she never came in, so we had to take a decision. And that's why I defend Gibbes. I said, look, folks, go into Gibbes, talk to them. They will make an arrangement with you in order to see you can make some payment arrangements.
But I really got
I think that's an excellent thing.
Yeah,
that's
what they're doing now.
Yeah. And it's one thing that I wanted to continue doing this thing, because sometimes they go off in the air and they don't tell us they're taking it off. So, but they're doing an excellent job with us concerning notifying the people of St. Martin before they do the cutting and so on. That's excellent.
Let's take some more calls for you, all right? Because I know that a lot of people want to speak to you tonight. Earl Gibbes Live, your caller. Hello? You're on live, caller.
Good night.
Good night. Can you please turn your... Hello?
Hello?
Yes. You want to speak?
I would like to find out from the good Minister of Parliament, is it correct what is being said that Canada controls the electricity lights going off and on in St. Martin? Is that correct?
Okay, let me have a response to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I love that question. Those that had a chance to listen to the budget meeting, some of the early part of this year, I asked not the budget meeting, let me correct myself. I believe in the presence of the GB members who were there and also the Prime Minister. I asked if it was true that the lights that were being controlled, I think on I can't remember exactly what road, was being controlled by a Canadian company. And I was told no. And now to find out that my colleague, what's his name, Christopher Emmanuel, have more proof as to the fact that indeed this is taking place where a Canadian company is controlling the lights in a certain area in St. Martin.
Why is that?
So I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's economically better for GB. I do not know. But again, it is important for us to have our facts straight, and I think it should be looked into very seriously.
But maybe I can do that. Is it that difficult? I mean, I heard it's a lot of money. So I want to know if it's really true.
And Oral, this is the thing, Oral, and we're asking ourselves, why is it that if this is the case, why is it that our locals who can do the job are not given preference? And that is why I'm saying these issues have to be followed up more seriously to ensure that if this is taking place, then it has to be stopped.
But what you're saying is that your colleague, MP Emmanuel, have documentation to verify that this is being done, that a company from Canada...
That's what I understood, because I haven't seen him say, because, you know, it's a recess, everybody doing their own thing. But, and when, you know, when Christopher speaks and comes with his stuff, he has his documentation substantiated, which is very important.
All right. I had your colleague here, MP, is a Franklin Myers, and he called you one of the most honorable members of Parliament. Maybe he's trying to pull you across.
National government, he might get through.
Let me take a call for you. Oral Gibbes live and call. Hello.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
You was just touching on GB a while ago. The senior relief, what it gave to people. I am a senior myself. You know how much that relief is? I was quite surprised. It's only 50 guilders. Is that a relief? I don't think so.
Okay.
50 guilders? Well, I don't know what they're giving other people.
Well, 50 guilders is better than nothing, right?
Sorry?
Would you say that 50 guilders is better than nothing?
No, I don't say so, because my bill, and I don't use any current actually, is above the 1,000 guilders. And
oh, what? Wait, 1,000 guilders, ma'am?
Bill for more than 500,000 guilders. And I even went there and I said to them, I said, even if the Westin or the hospital was tapping from my line, yeah, I said, even if they was tapping from my line, I even went to the newspaper with it, 500,000 guilders. And now these bills are coming in for more than 1,000 guilders. And I'm saying to myself, I don't even get 1,000 guilders from the...
Ma'am, MP Pantophlet, want to ask you a question.
Yes, Carla, what you're saying is very shocking. I think that we have to get together. What I'll do, gotta get her number because I want to call her.
Let me tell you what Gibbes told me. They told me that I have to get an electrician to check out my line. I said to check out your, what you call it? I said because your fuel charge is much more than what I just use. I'm telling you, when my grandson come by me, I don't have on no light, I don't have on candles. He just asked me if he gone. I tell him no. I said, I just can't afford to put on light. And even though I am not using the light, I still getting these high bills.
But that doesn't sound...
I'm wondering if I have to get an electrician check out the fuel cost that CB is collecting from me. Because I don't use even that on when I have the fuel cost on my bill. It is much more than what I ever use. The only thing that is on 24 hours a day in my house is the fridge. Only that. I just, just put on candles. I just burn candles.
Okay, I'll tell you what, ma'am.
These high bills.
Yeah, ma'am, MP. Can you hear me, please? I think something's going wrong with the phones there because even during the break. MP Pantophlet would like to speak with you. Can you call back after the show so he can have your number?
But you can see my number on the... You can see my number there.
Call back and then let me give your number. I'm not going to take your number and give it to him. All right? Please. Okay.
You see, well, that's one of the things that, again, you got to look at how the laws are, because GB is going to charge you what's recorded. And I personally could see, well, something, what's going on here? But the fact is, based on what is being said now, we have to get more details as to where it is, what a single place, if somebody is really tapping into, because she mentioned...
But she needs some help too.
Serious help, yes, of course, So after the program, please call, and then so you can see how to proceed with this matter.
Yeah, definitely. I'd like to take another call for you. Oral Gibbes live and caller. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Gibbes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Pantophlet.
Good evening.
Listen, that lady just calling, and it happened to us also. I thought something was wrong by our side, but what she stated happened exactly with us. Exactly. I have never paid such a high bill. My wife is a pensioner,
We actually released, but all of a sudden the bills are higher than ever. Hello?
Yeah,
Yes, we're listening now.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say. But what she stated happened to us also.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Wow. Man, you see, this something has to be looked into all because when you hear one complaint is one, if you hear 2, 3 complaints, then something is seriously wrong and has to be looked into for sure.
Sometimes the person can't afford to have a qualified electrician look at the electrical of the house, but I think they have to do that because I can't imagine a person receiving a bill for 1,000 guilders.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Yeah, yeah. I don't pay that, Oral. You know what I mean? I pay $200, $300, whatever. But the fact is, Oral, I think that something has to be done because it's a real issue that they're facing, and we just can't simply do something, get an electrician. I would even suggest, it might be a far-fetched suggestion, that GB themselves would look, instead of saying, find an electrician, no. Send somebody who, from GB themselves, to look into the matter, see exactly what is taking place.
Especially because these are pensioners. All of them are pensioners that are calling.
Exactly, exactly. So it cannot be avoided. It has to be looked into.
And that's why I asked later to call back after the show and give it the number.
Yes,
yeah.
Please call.
Right.
Please call.
Without taking any more calls now, because we're almost out of time, and it seems so many people want to speak with you tonight. As a member of Parliament, you all have a lot of responsibility and a lot of power, but sometimes when you sit at home and you watch parliamentary meetings, it seems like you guys are so helpless that ministers come to Parliament and just don't give a damn about you.
Earl, I told somebody one time, I said, look, we have as much power as we're given by the people. Of course, at the same time, what is happening right now, and I'm saying we, members of Parliament, we have not matured to the point where we understand that it's not about us keeping a government together, but it's about the people of St. Martin. Very often when you're in the opposition benches, and I hear that word opposition because I don't oppose everything, the coalition or the members that support the coalition do everything to keep that particular minister in place. And I find it's very wrong. Even the issue of the Minister of Finance, Mr. Martin Hassink, he is defending a third party, putting their interests above that of St. Martin. He is saying that $68 million that apparently we will not gain anything from is not the people's business, and therefore he refuses to give information to me as a member of Parliament as to what transpired in the court case.
And we're out of time. 20 seconds closing.
Oral, thank you for having me tonight. I want to thank those that call in. And the issue of St. Martin are important. And as we said in the beginning, if we have to form a national government in order to push St. Martin forward, with the people's interests at heart, we'll do so. Thank you again for having me, Oral.
And thanks for coming. Much success. And that's it for now. See you next time. Till I'm going to take care. Bye.